Hello guys, we're back again. The final series of the night here on the Bravo stream. I'm Durka in the JD studios and it's getting late. It's getting late, a little bit tired, but this best of three should be a cracker. EG up against LGD. And these guys, they've been knocked down. You know, GSL style group stages. It's kind of like a double elimination bracket, but these guys, they're the losers so far. Knocked down by Monkey Business and VP. But who are we going to see take control of this one? Oh, LGD against EG. My co-caster Scant is hopefully here as well. What do you think?
Well, you and I spoke after the LGD versus Virtus Pro series and said that 2 games in a row, FNG Spirit Breaker just controlling the game, and LGD have now first banned Spirit Breaker.
10 seconds
not even clear on whether or not EG want to be running the hero. I think they did pick it in one of their matches today. I think they fair played a Spirit Breaker, but it's just a clear sign that respect for the hero. They went and thought about what happened in their first match and they were like, we did not deal well with this hero, let's not play against it again.
Oh, well, there we go. See, I'm sitting here wondering, Evil Geniuses, you know, do they go with the AA Ember Spirit, which we've been seeing a ton of recently? You know, give the Ember over to little old rabbit, Mr. Slim. But no, they go with the Queen of Pain. Clockwork for Universe in the offlane. But Sumail, Queen of Pain. Let's see how he does on this one.
Sumail is so good at Queen of Pain. So good. It's actually, yeah, it's actually ridiculous. Where Vega won ESL a couple weeks ago, and they actually knocked out EG in the first round, but there was a game where Sumail did everything humanly possible. He nearly carried that entire game for his team playing Queen of Pain, and it's at this point not uncommon to see him play games on Queen of Pain where his score looks something like 25, 3 and 800 assists or something equally absurd to that. Very good. What a lame thing to say. He's just an exceptional Queen of Pain.
He good at Dota.
he good. It's like 5 AM and I'm just like,
yeah,
he good.
He good.
He has lots of MMR.
Other
points.
player, not so good. He very good.
I don't think he's played anything like that tonight. So, I mean, we didn't watch their previous series, but I feel like I know that he played Mag in one of the games. He played SF in another. I'm not sure about the third. But
sure
I don't think he played a Queen of Pain, and I think it does set a very different pace to what they're going to be doing. Also not sure if they've had the universe clock yet, so EG coming in with a plan for sure. LGD on the other hand, start with the Darkseid Ember Spirits, and Ember Spirits a hero that's definitely been doing very well today. Been doing very well recently in general. It's actually a hero that got highly prioritized in the previous series between CDEC and Cloud9, where it was first pick both games and then first ban in the third.
Yeah, very potent hero in the right hands, and yeah, maybe. It's a Sylar play Ember. He does, right?
I think he could.
It's not a you know stereotypical Sylar hero, but I'm pretty sure he plays the old Ember Spirit as well. I'm wondering, you know, maybe could still go for something like the Shadow Fiend you mentioned. Still go back and farm the jungle a little bit, which he does like to do. But EG taking out the Rubik there. Don't want DDC or MMY getting their hands on that one. And I wonder if they focus support bans now as well. You know, maybe even you consider banning the Wisp, because MMY is very potent on that hero. Witch Doctor still out there as well that you could take out at the same time. It's just these annoying little heroes that, you know, LGD can be very good on. I don't think you necessarily want to target ban anything against ROTK. You know, the Doom is there, it's a meta ban. The Tusk, it's annoying to handle. But right now, I think you kind of aim at either maybe or MMY.
Yeah, I mean, ROTK is probably playing the Darkseer, right?
I mean, last game we saw support Darkseer, so I'm I'm not ruling anything out.
We did, and yeah, I guess I wouldn't want to say that MMY or DDC are not capable of doing the same things as Garda, but at the same time, Garda he holds a special place in my heart at the moment.
I mean, look, they ban a Broodmother.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, look, LGD and CDEC are, a lot of people forget they're owned by that. I mean, LGD owns CDEC, and
does it still?
It still does. Even since CDEC became independent and took an independent name, Ruru still owns both teams, and it's conceivable that they'd be preparing together. We know that when Chinese teams go to international events, they very regularly do help one another, especially when they're not like massive events. They cheer for one another. So it wouldn't be that unheard of for them to do the Darkseer Brood strategy, just like Cedek just did. And while Garda holds a special place in my heart, MMY does too. I'll be honest, I've got quite a lot of crushes when it comes to the Dota scene.
All of them are Chinese.
Yeah, they're pretty much all Chinese. I don't know what that says about me, but the Lion pick will be responded to with a Lina pick.
Yeah, this is what I was going to ask. Like, with the Brood ban, I kind of feel Anti-Mage is coming, and Arteezy, AM, send it out to the bot lane, get it farmed up.
Yeah, it also just feels like where the draft had to be headed. With if the cores you're running are Sumail, Quap, and Universe Clock, it feels like we should expect then a very hard farming Arteezy hero, and Anti-Mage is exactly that. And I believe he did play an Anti-Mage earlier. I think the one game they did win against Monkey Business was the one where he played Anti-Mage.
10 seconds
We'll see how he gets on down there. Now, LGD. Lina's picked up by them. Still not sure where that's heading entirely yet. A lot of Chinese teams have kind of liked to play it in that 4 spot, as have a lot of CIS teams. But right here, you know, there's still Earthshaker out there as a decent old support, but you want heroes that are a little more mobile. You know, Earthshaker's a bit static until he gets his Blink Dagger. I guess Shadow Shaman, more lockdown even. You know, get that Hex down onto the Anti-Mage. Now, Shadow Shaman Lina, it doesn't feel like a kind of natural support duo. You can shackle into Light Strike Array, but Shadow Shaman is very often, especially later on in the game, running around, placing Serpent Wards, and not necessarily going into these head-on-head clashes. I feel like LGD are gearing themselves up for lots of split push, and lots of, you know, baiting, and running around dealing with Anti-Mage while also split pushing on their own across the map.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Shaman good in several ways. It can provide that lockdown, can provide that push. I know ROTK was drafting this hero quite a lot earlier in the year for eHome when they had this kind of group up early and push strategy. So I wouldn't count out the possibility of that. I mean, it doesn't look like their draft is committed to that at all. But depending on their last pick, they might try get an early advantage and take a lot of towers. And having Shadow Shop, having a hero which just so naturally gives you that pushing power means you don't waste time. Often when you're playing against Anti-Mage, you group up to go for a tower, Anti-Mage is split pushing somewhere else, and the trade-off is not actually positive for you in the long run because you take so long. If you have a Shadow Shaman, that's not going to happen. You're going to kill the tower really quickly. Anti-Mage will get very minimal amount of time on his own in another lane.
Templar Assassin, maybe getting his hands on that one. And LGD actually banned out the Shadow Fiend in that second phase. But final ban here for them. What are we looking at? Final support. Something I'm feeling the PPD Lion. It could still be played by Fear, but you know, Lion was PPD's hero for a long old time. Ancient Apparition, oh god. LGD, they're having flashbacks of that VP game, or that VP series even, of the AA Spirit Breaker charging around and killing off their cores with a couple of supports. But EG, long range initiation, check. Short range, medium initiation, some mobility, double blinkers, triple blinkers if Lion gets his up and running. They've got tons of maneuverability, lots of lockdown, a decent amount of damage. I don't know what they need to round out. Like, their draft seems rounded already.
10 seconds
Maybe something with a little bit of minus armor. Maybe something that can help them push, I think, is really what you aim for here. You know, you've got hero killing power, but you don't necessarily have that hard pushing into a tier 1 tower power. You know, split push from Anti-Mage, great. Split push from Queen of Pain, great. But it's that pushing into towers. Sustained from Dazzle, that's what they need. So I guess Fear Lion and PPD Dazzle.
I wonder if LGD banning the AA is not also potentially a sign that they do want to push, because it's a very good anti-push hero. It's a hero that's dominated them earlier today, but
you want Lycan again?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Some kind of, Lycan actually goes pretty well with Ember Spirits if you manage to make it work. That hull damage on Ember Spirits. I'm not sure what else it could be, but I'm thinking if it is something pushy, then that's a very clear signal with that AA ban, with that Shadow Shaman pickup, that actually the intention to deal with the Anti-Mage is just to like put pressure. And yeah, it's something pushy.
You're right. It wasn't the Lycan. It was the Lone Druid. Sylar Lone Druid. Oh, we were talking about his signature heroes earlier today. You know, the Morphling, Lycan, the Lone Druid. That's something that we've seen it here and there from like European teams a couple of times. Who was it that you were talking about that played it recently? I can't remember.
Oh man, I'm struggling to remember now as well. But there was.
Was it an NA team?
I think it's
Like
man,
we've seen it as one-offs every now and then. It's definitely
this
not
is gonna
been.
bother me.
It's-
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
It hasn't been like a flavor of the month or anything. It's just like, oh, Lone Druid could work here. We've got a player that likes Lone Druid. Let's go with it. Let's do this. I know that Lemon Dogs has done it once or twice, but that's because they've got Krilly, the old Lone Druid player from 4F plus.
Oh,
C.
it was Black actually. Black played it for Fnatic recently. That's what I saw.
There was something else. There was definitely
Prepare
something
for
else.
battle.
So in this patch, No Tails played it, Bulldogs played it, Ritsu played it once, Iwo played it, KYXY, Black. Those are the ones that I can find.
Damn.
It's quite a bunch of players, but yeah, it's definitely a throwback for Sylar. And I always liked that it was one of his signature heroes because like the hero is also historically known as the Sylar, and he's Sylar, and
It goes together.
yeah.
He doesn't have a funny
So-
named bear though. He doesn't actually have a. Does he have any cosmetics? Why doesn't he have a? Does he just like the normal bear?
Yeah, I think some people think that the custom bears are pay to lose. Like they're more obvious, and some of them
30
really do seem
seconds
like
to
bigger
battle.
or more standouts to me.
Some of them are pay to win though. Well, especially for a period of time, the red panda one, its hitbox was only half of the bear. Like the
Yeah,
front
it's
half of
difficult
the
to
bear
click
you
on.
could click on, the back half you couldn't touch it. But that was fixed up. So, Universe. Oh wait a second. Before I forget, I'm going to close the bloody cosmetics window. I've done that before. I've left it open for like 20 minutes before and just not realised late at night. Oh, down a bot. Oh, it's a good old Dragon Slave there from DDC across the bridge. It's up at top. Clockwork gets the bounty rune. Ember Spirit gets the one down a bot. But the Universe Clock up at top against Silo. 1v1, Lone Druid. Aggressive tri lane maybe here. DDC on the Lina with RTK Darkseer. And who's left over? MMY, Shadow Shaman. Or maybe is the little old Ember Spirit mid. They've got an aggressive Observer Ward looking over the cliff for Slim Shady. Little old Sumail playing the Queen of Pain getting zapped down already. But safe lane tri lane. PPD, Fear, Dazzle, and Lion. And Mr. RTZ himself on the anti-mage. That's an aggressive dual lane, actually.
I think Lena's here just to help Darkseid get level 2.
It's still difficult. Oh, look at that, honestly. He's being demolished.
I very much expect DDC to leave once RTK has level 2. I'm not completely sure. Maybe he even leaves right now. Because it doesn't seem like long-term the kind of aggressive dual lane you'd usually run. But Darkseid does sometimes need a little shepherding just in those early levels.
Oh, middle lane, how's that going? Ember Spirit 2 and 2, Queen of Pain 3 and 2. Nothing out of the ordinary there. A couple of denies coming out for some mail on his mid Queen of Pain, but this matchup's going to be pretty interesting to watch. While down at bottom lane, look, PPD and Fear are sitting so high up on this lane, just wailing down on this little old Darkseer. He's taking a hammering, and now he might actually die. Fear's here, waiting, holding with the stun. Yeah, he's only level 1. So he doesn't have the stun and the hex, and PPD only has that Shadow Wave as well. So damage output not going to be amazing. While back up the top, Universe takes the zapping from MMY. Shadow Shaman's return to his lane. Well, I really like this. Fear and PPD, they know that stacking and pulling is not going to do anything for them. They're guaranteeing farm for the anti-mage. They're stopping the Darkseer from throwing down as many iron shells as he wants. And Arteezy, he's doing perfectly fine now. Last thing on the tower, controlling lane equilibrium. It's really beautiful play to watch. You've got to wonder though, the way that they're not getting levels, the way that they're not stacking, pulling, and building up for themselves, may be worrisome as the game progresses. But if they're able to keep the status quo as it is, I'm gotta say they're a pretty good advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely correct that both of the supports stayed there while Lina was there. If one of them tries to zone Darkseer alone, Darkseer plus Lina just destroys that hero and then starts to zone out the anti-mage of his farm. So I think they made the right decision, and I do still maintain that we probably won't see Lina going back to that bot lane now. Although I'm not completely sure because it's not that clear that she gets that much down in other places.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Kind of awkward with the Shadow Shaman Lina, especially at level 1. Shadow Shaman doesn't have the disables. You know, you need the shackles, you need a hex or something to set up for the LSA. But Lina doesn't have that. She's gone Dragon Slave, and she's not going to hit level 2 anytime soon either. So I'm with you. I don't think she can do anything anywhere else. Maybe you act as like a Skyrath or a Nargasaran and move towards mid. spam out onto Sumail and stop him from farming. Give Ember a bit of better time.
Yeah, otherwise Shadow Shaman, I feel like either with Lina or on his own, if he picks up a smoke once he has the points and shackles, actually a really strong hero early on for making those kills. Whether you gank into just the lane that you're actually at, or try to get to that mid lane. Obviously if ganking into mid lane is not hard at all actually. Ember Spirit's got, maybe he's got slides and double flame guard, but as soon as he gets the searing chains, if he lands the chains as you run into the shackle, it's very possibly a kill. And interesting, I've been that early point in the slide. I was actually watching the mid lane earlier. Maybe he's been trying to dodge the shadow strikes. And I think he's dodged at least 2 already. So doing a good job about this lane. He's still behind, but it's a lane that he's expected to be behind in.
Bad, not bad. Maybe he does take a shadow strike now. So his flame guard up, so it should be okay for a while at least. But look at this. RTK is like, screw bottom lane, guys. I'm going to go into the jungle. I've got my stout shield. I need to get my soul ring. And then I'll head down there. So the plan to stop and limit the farm for RTZ has, for now, it's come to a halt. Not able to do it just yet. DDC will stack up a camp for them.
There's that smoke on DDC as well, which is almost certainly going to join up with MMY, because I don't see him smoking anywhere on his own and getting anything done.
Apparently Miracle has been given a carry or mid Earthshaker over in the other game. Been a while since I've seen that.
That's interesting. I guess there's people in the chat watching both games at once.
Yep. I'm getting all my updates from MLG chat. But yeah, Sylar, he's keeping up with the farm. He's done a good job up here. The one big difference obviously is the difference between offlaners, you know. Universe 6 and 2, the Darkseer 7 and 0, but it's the levels. It's the old levels that matter. Start easy. Let's see where he goes for. Poor man shield. No, it's usually like poor man shield, quelling, ring of health, go into the treads, and then see how things go. Try and get into your battle fury as quickly as you can. I wonder here though, with the amount of money he's saving up, you know, waiting to see. Yeah, he finishes off. It goes into quelling blade and ring. He doesn't need to get that poor man shield just yet. He'll have enough money to go back into it if he does, but mainly that's to deal with the Darkseer shoving these waves mid. Oh god, they found him. Sumail, good call. Dead to the gank forward. And I guess did Sumail blink aggressively forward?
I don't believe that he did. I'm not sure. It didn't look like he could blink out to me. He got caught out by maybe at the end of a creep wave with the chains. And after that there's the stun, Dragon Slave, and actually what finished him was the Slides of Fist. A little bit of extra damage as I think he was going to blink away. But it's actually good because I was concerned that DDC wouldn't be able to make a rotation into mid lane on his own, and succeeds in doing that even without MMY. Pretty impressive.
Maybe he just stands his ground and says, come at me, Sumail. Level 5 Quap. Level 5 Ember Spirit, but Flame Guard is up in time. He's got no mana for the chains. Why, maybe. Maybe. He's dead here. He's actually just going to die. What was that move forward?
I guess he didn't anticipate that his Flame Guard would get completely burst down by the Scream. And he's like running in thinking, I've got Flame Guard on me, I'm going to go for a kill. But he didn't have Flame Guard on him. It went on and off pretty much instantly.
And he didn't have mana for chains. Like I thought he was going to go in, chains, run back. But he didn't have mana for it. He instantly gives a kill straight back. You know, we talk about Sumail winning disadvantageous matchups or, you know, coming back into a lane he's lost. But that was maybe handing it to him on a silver platter. I was looking at the levels and thinking, okay, maybe he gets level 6 before the Quap. So that means that the Quap is not going to have her ulti before Remnants are down. Now they're looking for the kill back under the Queen of Pain. The dynamic has shifted, but Blink is available. Scream, Blink back, and maybe they look for the Sonic Wave return.
Yeah, and I think because maybe he's gone for that 2-1-2 build, which is not the most usual build, that's the reason. I mean, if he had 3 points in Flame Guard, his Flame Guard wouldn't have gone off immediately.
Yeah. And maybe that's it. Experience. Not realizing. But Fear. Walking into RTK. He's got the stun, he's got the Hex. He should be okay. RTZ can come and back him up as well. The ping has come out. Fear's like, hey, look, there's the shouting god running me down. Stop him. Do something about it. Even maybe he's coming across here. Level 6, the lawnmower cometh, but they see everything coming. E.g., that Observer Ward will give them full vision and full knowledge of the evil that's within their own jungle.
And very interesting to me the way MMY has been prioritizing just getting these pulls off, getting his levels, and again it speaks to the fact that the major plan for fighting against anti-mage this game is just to push. That's what I think. Because Shadow Shaman is definitely a hero that could be involved in these early smoke rotations. and it seems like deliberate that MMY's not done that well. His life might be in danger as
There you
a
go.
hasted Sumail who misses the scream.
Dire's middle tower
Yeah.
is under attack.
With that Scream, they would have secured a kill. Scream, Sonic Wave, Rocket Flare. There's no hook shot on Universe just yet, but they wouldn't need it. They've got the damage output, and I've really enjoyed watching people copy Moon Meander with his Clockwork builds. I don't know who did it first. Like the first person I saw really, utilize it consistently was Moon Meander, going for the 1-1-4 build. And everyone's kind of followed suit, realizing that the magic damage you get, the farm speed you get, and the ability to shove waves pretty hard, oh goodness gracious me, is incredibly strong compared to the potential for kills that you maybe get on a support that might come towards you. It's so much more consistent and guaranteed.
Oh, I gotta say, we talked about Silas Lone Druid not having a custom Spirit Bear, but his custom ulti animation is like one of the really creepy ones. He really looks like a I don't know,
Oh,
some
God.
kind of sex offender.
he's huffing and puffing.
He
Why is he so-
doesn't look like someone you trust your children with.
Why is he so thin at the bottom?
Yeah,
He missed leg
really
day
weird.
like 7 years ago. Bloody hell. Well, maybe DDC, they are going for a smoke gank there. I'm going to go and wander away and try and find someone. But who is that someone going to be? Observer ward watching out for the Ancients. Oh, goodness.
Dire's
Sumail
middle tower
going for
is
the
under
8-minute rune. There's nothing there. Maybe he's already taken this. And Universe under the tower. They're shoving hard into this wave. And we're looking for the Clockwork, and they'll find him. Maybe Invis rune. In we go. Hex chains. Shackle up. And magic damage and stuns. We'll take down the little
tower is under attack.
claptrap guy.
Guitar for sure, and that's without the Shadow Shaman's level 6. And so what we were calling earlier in the year pseudo death ball,
Radiant
so it
structures
begins.
are fortified.
And that's almost certainly what this
Dire's
is.
middle tower
I mean, they've got the
Radiant's
backup
top
plan
tower has
of
fallen.
Ember and all the heroes. They draft skills really well, but being able to apply this pressure against the anti-mage based draft is definitely invaluable. So I don't think it'll take. I think it's basically a matter of time. As soon as MMY gets his level 6, we'll see another rotation for a tower coming out of LGD.
Artesia is fully free farming here though. He's got treads, 4-man shield. He's got the extra ring of regen, which is obviously nice against the darks here. Regen you up in between these iron shell spams over on your little creeps. Queen of Pain farming through a little stack here though of herself. Queen of Pain get herself up into oh, what? Go Orchid? I think Orchid's pretty good against Darkseer and Ember, but like you're saying, if the push comes thick and fast, that Aghanim Scepter, just to slow things down a little bit, could be vital for the
That's
quad.
what I'm thinking. She needs the Aghanim Scepter because there's going to be that pushing pressure on them early on. And I think at this point it's fairly obvious. This Lone Druid, even when he just stands still, the way he walks, the way he stands, I don't know, the model's ridiculous.
Well, they clear through a couple of stacks here. Maybe gets himself a nice bit of gold with ROTK as well. But they're still sitting a fair distance behind the Quap and the Anti-Mage, It's a decent difference there. MMY up at top, Sonic Wave at the ready. Sumail, secure the kill.
Dire's
Get in
middle
there with a
tower is under
nice
attack.
little juicy kill onto that Shadow Shaman, who hit level 6, has the Serpent Wards, and also has enough money for Arcane Boots if he wants them. What I'm wondering, he saved up enough. He held on to that wave as long as he could, just waiting to see how much he can save. Rushing Ags is a possibility. Blink Dagger is a possibility. Arcane's is going to be good for the sort of consistent push forward you get, especially when Lina doesn't have anything to call her own, They've kind of given away a lot of the farm for the support over to the Shadow Shaman and neglected the Lina somewhat.
Yeah,
Dire's bottom
so
tower is under attack.
in my experience, Chinese Shadow Shamans try their best to rush Blink if they can.
Radiant's middle
It's
tower
very,
is
very
under
highly
attack.
valued. But I agree with you, Arcane Boots is definitely a possibility when you're trying to group up and push, and even Ags could be good. They're smoking this bot lane. They've just lost Sylar, and they're hoping to get Artesia in a turn.
Oh, there we go. You can't blink. Blink's on cooldown still. They get the Hex, the stun, the shackles. The damage is here, but the Grave equally here. And Artesia can blink away. He gets himself to safety. Back into the trees. The vacuum is available.
Sorry,
RTK
TK.
walls. He's got the vac, but he can't see him. Anti-Mage is there. Finally, they kill him off. So a 2-for-1 with Sylar did die off at the top lane. But they get the tower as well, which is something that LGD are very good at. Turning kills into towers and objectives.
Yeah, it's actually, it turns out, because Dazzle comes in to save Anti-Mage, ends up just dying as well. turns out to be really bad for EG. I do wonder if maybe RTZ could have blinked in a different direction, might have been able to escape, but yeah, it's a tough one. Working out for LGD, I would say. And for now, for EG, I think even though RTZ's been farming well, the big positive for them is Sumail. Sumail's doing really well, and he might be able to have something to say about, you know, controlling the tempo of the game early on. But right now, he's getting entangled by Silas Spirit Bear.
He gets the rune. Now, Ogre Club first is kind of interesting. Because Point Booster first, you know, indicates Aghanim Scepter. Ogre Club could still mean Ags, but usually means BKB roll.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I still feel like he needs an Ags, but I mean, BKB Rush is also kind of a brawling, get up in your face. Quap and Clockwork are just gonna go at you when you try and push. In the mid lane, PPD is in huge trouble again. That's a haste rune, he's definitely dead.
Maybe even throws the chains down to secure it, making damn sure he dies. Up at top, Fear and Sumail. Fear has done a great job getting himself gold, up to 1500, but look at this tower after tower. They know what they want, they know they're going to get it, and Sylar not messing around. Not going for the Radiance build, going straight into Maelstrom.
Yeah, and now with all the tier 1s down on EG, and all the tier 1s up for LGD, LGD get a lot more control over the map. They get to limit anti-mage's farming, and it won't be too long before they start pushing the tier 2s.
Are they going for this one? Sumail doesn't have Blink, they've got the chains, and they actually surged forward. MMY not in time! A Hex out of range.
He does have ulti up again though, so
And he's
I
got
wonder where
Blink.
MMY goes with this.
In 100 gold, he's got Blink as well.
It's pretty incredible actually. So just sitting tight early on, doing a lot of pulls, not avoiding those deaths, kill a few tier 1s with your team, and suddenly you have a Blink Dagger.
Oh, Sumail is definitely going for that BKB. Mithril Hammer's picked up. Fear trying to farm into his Blink Dagger, but Universe actually limited on farm himself. You know, this off lane, it went decently for levels, but he hasn't been able to farm stacks or find kills. And the kills obviously is the more important one as the Clockwork. You want to be initiating, opening things up, and getting the rest of your team as active as you possibly can as they find DDC, and they will secure themselves a kill. A spree goes the way of Sumail, and can they take a tier 1? I don't think they can because they're going to lose Fear here. Oh, good stun. Good Earth Spike. Latches 3, but what? Hello, Sylar. First hit entangle. Thank you very much.
Do you know how many times he's done that this game actually? I'm sure EG's talking about this right now. I think I saw him attack the Queen of Pain probably 3 times and first did entangle him as well. And they're for the kill where it matters as well. So
Can they?
yeah, one of those things,
stop
we
this?
talk a lot about Spirit Breaker RNG these days. Lone Druid's been out of the meta for a long time, but when Lone Druid's in the meta, that's people talk about first did entangles.
They can't stop it. With Serpent Wards, with the bear, the iron shells, and everything. It's too much damage to try and stop from taking Roshan. So what's that? 14:45. First Roshan goes, and LGD not only good at taking towers, you know, good at taking other objectives as well. A big man falls, and they go straight back to farming. How are we looking overall? LGD have got themselves 3-4k net worth lead. Nothing massive, nothing insurmountable here for Evil Geniuses, especially when they've got Anti-Mage, Queen of Pain, heroes that can become very active at, you know, the flick of a switch. When they have one item, all of a sudden they go from being, you know, a dozing little kitten to being a roaring tiger.
Yeah, the concern really is where is that turning point? It probably is meant to be Sumail's BKB. That's where EG is willing to take some fights. I don't think the anti-mage is going to be responsible for that turning point. If we consider the way the game's going, LGD are going to go through the tier 2s, all 3 of them, in the next 5 minutes or so. And if they're allowed to do so, and have that 6-tower advantage and complete map control, suddenly the game looks very difficult for EG. So I think EG need to be planning some kind of turning point to get tower trades. Maybe yeah, they start with the tier 1 top. That's something already. Get a few tower trades and maybe win 1 or 2 fights. That would give them plenty of breathing room and then EG look really good. But if they lose all their tier 2s and get just this 1 tower and a bit of farm on the anti-mage, it's probably not good enough for them.
Look at how aggressive the warding is out from LGD. One very high in the top lane, so they saw the movement forward. They knew exactly what RTZ and PPD were doing. Moving on to the top tier 1. And they've also got some incredibly aggressive wards, and that's unfortunate. D-wards down on this bottom lane. 2 sentries miss out on the observer ward there, and that's a mistake. That's honestly a big error, not catching that. But they will get the tier 2. A minor trade for EG, but still gold lining their pockets nonetheless. And that's Battle Fury done. With a headdress and treads for Arteezy's anti-mage.
Yeah, and he's gonna be creep cutting as well, just trying to get as much pressure in as he can. Sumail and Arteezy intelligently enough farming the enemy side of the map. They know that their side of the map's not safe at the moment. And it's actually a blink dagger up now on Fierce Lion. So there's certainly some potential with the blink on the Lion and the BKB on the Queen of Pain and soon to be a Blade Mail on Clock. There's some potential for fighting actually from the EG side. And it's going to be interesting to see what window they choose. If they decide to initiate on LGD as they're grouping up for a tower, or if they try and get a pick off in between the group up for tower movements.
Sumail. Cliff jungling. They know you're up there, and MMY gets the Hex. Okay, well, we'll have this kill, thank you very much, with the Serpent Wards down. Bloody hell.
Yeah, overstaying is welcome a bit. I think that eventually LGD were going to realize that, hey, everyone's farming our jungle. Let's go take a look there. And I guess it's probably better that Sumail goes down than if it was Arteezy. So that's maybe one consolation. But there's another tier 2 mid lane going down.
Easy stuff. RTK is a guy that we haven't looked at. He's got Greaves. 80 minutes in, he's got Greaves. They're pushing tier 3, like without a shadow of a doubt. This is crazy. They've got Blink Lion over on EG. They've got Rocket Flares, Hook Shots. They've got Waves, Weaves, and Graves. But stopping the push from LGD is so difficult.
MMY standing up here saying, Arteezy, if you show here, I can hex you. And anyone could TP in the time of Hex and Shackles, so Arteezy has to actually run away from the Shadow Shaman.
Little Shadow Shaman. Oh, aggressive smoke here. Desperate smoke from Evil Geniuses. Looking for something. RTK. Hookshot comes his way. Universe not going to miss that one. Straight line easy. Take down the Darkseer. He dropped his wall there, and I wonder if that's an overextension of his anger for being caught. Because there's no reason to drop your wall there. No one's coming in to save you.
Yeah, there's no reason, but it also doesn't matter. It's... LGD are in a really good position right now, I think. And speaking of which, MMY has actually caught out Arteezy, and there's support coming in right here.
Oh, you're right. They've got him. Chain stunned into oblivion. And this DDC Lina in the 4-roll. In Europe, we see such greedy 4-roll Linas, you know? They play like a Visage or an AA. They sit on a lane, they farm, they get their Yules, their Ags, their Blinks, their stuff like that. But Fear of bot lane, the line with a Blink, you can't move, you're ensnared up, and then Mjolnir is finished on the Spirit Bear. Charging you down, it's disgusting.
But yeah, as you were about to say, I think about DDC's Lina, it's actually quite impressive. It's like he's been on demand all game. That as soon as someone else goes for a kill, he'll be there to do the follow-up stun and Dragon Slave. And you're right, European Lina's very often greedier in terms of their build, and also in terms of trying to go for players on their own instead of just being the follow-up. Which is kind of like the more traditional, historical, when Lina used to be picked long ago, would always be picked as a follow-up stun after a setup, and that's exactly how it's being used here. Follows the Shadow Shaman or follows the Ember Spirit.
PPD, casual bracer, he knows the storm is coming. The quiet hasn't lasted long. LGD and Greaves up. They've lost their Aegis, but with the Serpent Ward, is that level 2 Serpent Ward? Oh no, he's so close to level 11. I feel he maybe could have waited, but they wanted to go now. Onto RTK, EG have jumped in, and oh, here we go, Sumail, Sonic Wave across 3 of them with a BKB up, they can't focus him down, and in jumps the man avoiding Arteezy, clears up 2, looking for the third, Sylar has his bear, but it's too far behind. They don't have maybe Ember Spirit cleaving through anybody, now he's stunned up. They went for the aggressive push up, but they've been wiped. They get the tier 3.
Yep.
Well, that is demolition from Evil Geniuses.
It's so big, and it's honestly a big part of that is that LGD, I think, did not expect for a second that EG would go on them. I think they went in thinking, these guys are terrified of our push, they're not going to know what to do. And EG had been planning it for what seems like the whole game. The fact that Sumail rushes the BKB is very indicative of that, I think. That they've been planning that there's going to be a point at which we have to fight, and we're going to just pounce on them. And yep, they win that fight. It's a very, very big deal at this point. And I think it does a lot to equalize the game. I'd put LGD still a bit ahead, but not much.
Yep. Light Striker into Vacuum, that's not how the combo works. Now at this point as LGD, you've knocked on the door, you've knocked down the door, And now what's waiting is the living room. The front room with a TV in it, you know, the stereo system. Do you go in, try and nick their stuff? Or do you wait it out? Scope the place out. Try and get a top tier 3. Try and get top tier 2. Because right now, there's no glyph. You could potentially go in with Serpent Wards up in 25 seconds. In fact, they're jumping down bot lane. Yep, Universe. They're going to go for PBD instead. The easier kill. No buyback available on your Dazzle. Maybe this is where they enter. Both lanes at once.
Shadow Shaman's got ulti in 15 seconds. And I think it's mostly just important that ROTK doesn't get picked off like he did in the last push. If he's not the one who gets killed first, it's actually just huge, the impact that he can have on the fight. Because he got... Oh.
They're going. Same position again. Exactly the same. Hook shot this time onto DDC, not ROTK. So they've got the vacuum wall. And Sumail's BKB is wearing thin. They bring the bear back, but they've already taken down that one melee Rax. Range Rax are going to fall shortly after. Meanwhile, Radiant are destroying towers. Tier 2 up at top drops down. But LGD, they're not done just yet. Hook shot's down for half a minute. And they'll clear out this creep wave down the bottom lane and look for the tier 3 as well.
I think they should be done. I think this is greedy. ROTK doesn't have his Greaves up yet. They don't have Resta ulti.
They've got Vac Wall, Greaves in 10. It's greedy, but I think it's borderline. Like, it's not overtly greedy. It's not putting themselves in harm's way that much. Now they see the front line, though, of the DD Queen of Pain actually moving towards them. That's when they realize it's time to back up.
Yeah, I think it's the straightforward approach is to wait for the next rush, pick up a few new items on whoever's got the gold, and then just go for the second set of racks. And I think, honestly, LG are in a pretty good position to force that. And EG are going to have to do what they did in that first base defense. Especially now that Sumail's picked up that Orchid. EG are going to have to just preempt them. Because if you wait for Spirit Bait to be attacking your base and the Rasta Wards to be up, you're going to lose too much even if you win the fight. So you kind of need to see LGD coming and just preempt them. And that's what they're doing here with the smoke gank.
Take a quick
Try
look
to
at
get ahead of the rush or the next push or something like that.
quick look at the graphs, though. When you see people taking racks at, you know, like 20 minutes or so, you expect the sudden incline from, you know, 5,000 net worth lead to 10,000. The sudden spike of like 5k. Oh, we'll come back in a second. RTK, Orchid up, Slim Shady. BKBs, and Queen of Pain is now on the retreat. Doesn't want to get ensnared and tangled and rooted by the Spirit Bear. Actually, Ember Spirit jumping forward. Slight chains. Sumail's been caught. One ensnare, and that'll secure the kill. And guess what? Silent bloody well gets it.
And Roshan will be up very soon.
In 14 seconds. What was I saying before? Oh my god, it's so late. I was making a point about something. Oh yeah, gold lead. When a team takes a rack, you know, you expect them to be like 4,000, 5,000, 7,000, whatever, net worth ahead. And then they take racks and they suddenly burst towards 10k. But here, because LGD lost that fight at mid, they're trying to recoup the gain they had before. So now they're only sitting at a 5,000 net worth lead. Sure, their items, they've got some big key items. But experience is actually going the way of evil geniuses. But the dynamic is going to be that, oh god, RTZ jumps forward, they've got the grave onto Universe, but Fia's dead already. RTZ, you've got to run, you're going to get ensnared and tangled. It doesn't get the proc. But with Lion and Quat both dead for a decent amount of time. Tier 3, Serpent Wars drop, this is the problem. You might have a gold deficit of only 3,000, you might have an experience lead over on EG, but it doesn't matter if the heroes are destroying you. Time and time again, maybe Sansed up at the blade mail, they're forced out by his teammate. And RTZ blinked into the cogs. They'll try and take down these Serpent Wards, but Slim Shady, Sumail, graved in the duration of the Hex, and they can't finish him off just yet. Can't finish the racks either. It's these RTZ illusions. They're chasing down MMY.
If they can retreat, they will definitely get rush. I mean, I don't think there's a good way for EG to get rush, and it's not even that easy for EG to try contest, so it's almost a foregone conclusion that LGD get it. And then the next time they push, those two Raxes are dead. Just, if they have an Aegis, it's absolutely guaranteed. I just can't see those Raxes surviving against an Aegis push.
Maybe he's done an amazing job, honestly, without having any, you know, big critical items. He's got no Battle Fury, no Desolator, no Crit, no Maelstrom. Nothing that we've seen in the past from Ember Spirits if they do push early, you know. Could have expected maybe a Deso or a Maelstrom just to help a little bit. He's going for the security. Going for the security of the late game a little bit here. Tanking up. Ultimate Orb. What do you reckon? Linken's or Skadi? Or Manta? Manta against the Orchid.
I think it's a Manta. It's also more of a pushing item. And it's kind of a balance between the Lincolns and the Skadi in terms of really expensive and just like pure defensive. Interesting to see that LGD are smoking up and not going straight to rush. I guess they expect EG to be coming out to fight them for rush, and they just want to take the fight.
Well, they're going to find it. BOT's forward, maybe. He sees Universe, but he also sees Fear over on the side. Vacuum back into chains. And Sumail jumps forward. He's got the Orchid down to maybe. Force staff back with the Greaves as well, healing them all up. And they've got no ulti. There's no Sonic Wave. There's nothing for Sumail to do. Maybe he's just going to jump himself back and forth and run away. Sumail's now caught with no BKB. Hexed and shackled and Arteezy. He gets the Mana Void, catches two. But LGD have already destroyed them in this team fight. Arteezy, the anti-mage, blinks away back to safety. I wonder though, does this stop the push? Does this stop Roshan?
It really ought not to, although I'm not sure. LGD have a lot of information. They still have a ward in the enemy base plus a whole creep wave.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's actually, I gotta say, for the position EG's in, that's about as good as they can hope for to have in a fight. They killed two cores, they lost a corner support. Anti-mage got it out alive. It felt like it was quite good for LGD, but Arteezy did a really good job in that fight, just skirting around the edges, got a really good mana void off eventually, got out alive. I do think that, I don't know, I feel like there's pretty much no drawback for LGD just going for the rush. I'm not completely sure what they're concerned about. It should favor them to take a fight to the pit if that does come up. Surely with the darks here.
Well, Arteezy, 5-2 and 2. 1200 gold saved up after Vlad's Battle Fury and Manta Style. Now, next up on his list, what do you reckon? Because, no, Basher Abyssal could be good. Butterfly is probably going to be great here. But, how do you feel about, like, just a heart to tank yourself up?
Again, I sort of feel like BKB is the item you have to go for if you feel like you have to be fighting. I'm not too sure. It again depends on the urgency. If you're an if the fight, you know, if he feels forced to fight very soon, he just gets that BKB. If he thinks he can farm a bit longer, he might get the hearts of the butterfly.
Well, Arteezy's up at the top. They're only one racks down. Tier 3, of course, is down at bottom lane, but they've secured a good foothold here around the Roche pit. And in charge LGDs. Oh god, they really want in. Hookshot into the back, actually catching out MMY. Forces out, but the rest of the fight over in the front line, Sylar, he's being shredded and his bear along with him as the jump forward. In goes Sumail with the Sonic Wave and they're clearing him up. They've got two, they've got a couple here, but Arteezy's dead. MMY is the only one to fall. It looked like they had them trapped and in their palm. But Sumail escapes, Lion dies. And a 3-for-1, MMY the only casualty.
Yeah, they committed so much actually to killing MMY, because first the hook in, and then he forces himself out, and then they try burst him and Doxy heals him. And this is now Rush, and that really does mean if everyone's healed up and they have all their spells and LGD push with the Aegis, I really think that those bot racks is finished.
The Greaves really make it. Like the Greaves really make it there for LGD. Because the Sonic Wave, the Scream, all great from Sumail. Mana Void, great. The jump forward, great. But the Greaves just keeps him alive so much longer. I honestly thought that 3 would die almost instantly from LGD as they jumped in and found the opening to that team fight. But RTK, Vax back, wall, Greaves, keeps everyone alive and healthy.
Yep, and there's a reason he rushed them. And by the way, MMY is halfway, more than halfway to an Aghanim Scepter, which you gotta feel could be just the final straw.
The nail in the
if
coffin.
He gets there.
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
he won't even get there. The game might even end before that. Aegis up on maybe. December Spirit looking forward for the hunt. EG defensive positioning.
The invisible Lina could find an initiation. Actually breaks the invis to put some wards up. There's PPD on the side.
Oh, the hook onto he hooks the anti-mage in. That's tilting. That's tilting. DDC will get finger down by Fear though, maybe. Chase down onto PPD and jumps Sumail. He's not got a Sonic Wave though. With the Orchid up and the Screams back, Lina buys back. Shadow Shaman's already dead. Maybe he's got the Aegis, so he's just going to go in, tank up the damage while Sylar comes in from the side. Looking for the ensnare, looking for Arteezy. Get that ensnare, not going to proc it just yet. Sumail blinks back, but that's good chains onto 2. Both of them are caught. But LGD don't want to force the issue here. They don't want to press in too far.
I think EG outplayed LGD pretty severely in this fight.
Even with the hook and cogs.
Even with that bad start, and even though LG end up getting a couple of kills at the end, it's... I mean, I've been saying the whole time with the Aegis, they're just gonna definitely get those Raxes, and the Raxes didn't even get touched.
Didn't get a chance to go up. I mean,
yeah, got burst down without doing much, and then Shadow Shaman got burst down with just about only ulting. Did he actually ulti? I don't know if he did.
Who,
His
Lina?
ulti was actually used to rush, maybe. I'm not I don't know if he ultied in that fight.
Who?
The Shadow Shaman?
I don't know. I don't think so. I am having difficulties remembering what happened like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I know the feeling. It's the time of day.
Yeah, just so you know, guys, we're not in New Orleans. We're not at 11 p.m. or whatever it is. It's closing on 6 a.m. It's it's been a long ride. It's been a long ride. So apologies for Failfish T-Tour's camera work and nonsense being gulbled out. It's been interesting. It's been interesting.
We're mostly saying relevant words, but Dota 2.
Mostly relevant words. Dota 2 is a video game. Anti-Mage is a hero in said video game. Arteezy is playing said hero in said video game.
And looks like LG just wants to like back off a bit, cool it a bit, just recognizing that they don't want to lose control of the game completely. It's a game that they're quite firmly in control of, and there's a bit of a slip up with them trying to finish off those bot Raxes, and they regroup, they've smoked up, and they're going to look for a pick off maybe before they go again.
LGD, yeah, you're right. Arteezy, you've got Manta to get out of the root, but you don't have Manta to get out of the Hex, and they're going to TP straight on in. Shackle, Bash, oh god, the Grave, PPD, he graves him up, he can blink away, and oh, the Yule Scepter. Is this friendly or enemy? Well, regardless of that, Remnant will finish him off. Where the hell was PPD?
Unless Arteezy had his own Yules, it probably had to be enemy. I don't know where PPD was as well. That's a really good question because he like graved out of I don't know where.
He graved and
just TP'd
TP'd the hell out.
Yeah.
Oh.
But there is a buyback on Arteezy, and in this case I feel like he'd be happy to use it if he thinks they'll win a fight. And yeah, his teammates have smoked up, they're gonna take the fight, he's probably gonna buy back.
We're going to jump in on the back. Yep, MMY's the catch again. As the hook shot, Finger of Death will land onto him. Sonic Wave. He's pretty good across them all, but I don't know about this. The Manavoid doesn't do a damn lot. As RTK's got the wall down, the vacuum. But LGD, who's this on the back end? DDC, oh god. You're Roger, you are dead, man. Two dead again.
This is 2 fights in a row.
Yeah.
EG pick off the supports without them casting any spells. Sure, it took a buyback, and that means if LGD get another pick off on Arteezy in the next, what is it, 6 minutes? Yeah, in the next 6.5 minutes, they pretty much win the game. But that's the risk that Arteezy had to take, I think. And we have seen that there's a weakness in LGD's draft, that EG have this jump ability with Clockwork, Lion, Anti-Mage, and Queen of Pen. They can all jump on you. And it means that they can really just get onto the supports, and Lina and Shadow Shaman can go down without casting any spells, and all of a sudden, a lot of the utility's gone. I mean, as strong as Darkseid, Ember Spirit, and Lone Druid are, they're not really a team on their own. There's like missing gaps in terms of what they can actually do in the fight.
Yeah, they're just pushing straight in. Like, there's no subtlety, there's no nuance to their strat. They push, and they push, and they push, and they do get a kill up at top. Fear. He pushed a little bit too far up on top lane.
Fear was doing there, yeah. It's not where you want it to be. In a room alone with the Ember Spirits, who, by the way, I mean, it's not just that he didn't rush Battle Free, he's like screwed Battle Free this game. He's gone Manta, and now he has a Basher.
Why the hell not?
And I guess if the game goes long enough, that'll be an Abyssal Blade, and it'll be an extra tool for just winning those fights.
Yeah. Killing Anti-Mage, stopping him. But yeah, the fact, like, LGD is kind of predictable in their movements. They send the Shadow Shaman forward to place wards down, and then they have him back up. Or they have him sitting at the back of the fight. At any given point, you know where the Shadow Shaman's going to be. He's either going to be at the very front or the very back, to either throw Serpent Wards down or counter-initiate with the Blink Hex Shackles. So Universe has been very good with his Rocket Flares scouting out for the Shadow Shaman, and they just jump in, 3 heroes onto 1, get the target they need, and the scary thing is for LGD is that they have so much potential pushing power on this support hero, the MMY Rasta. Look, straight in, Rocket Flare onto MMY, they catch him for like the 4th fight in a row, Sonic Wave across, but I don't know about this, the cogs block him off. In comes Arteezy again, the Mana Void doesn't do too much, but it has stopped the push in. It's winning this fight. RTK dies to a couple of swipes here from RTZ. A couple of hits even with a rocket flare that'll secure it. Gem on the deck and DDC. You're in trouble. Dead. Gone. And the push quelled once again. LGD, I think they might have lost this.
LGD, I mean, they're really not learning, are they?
It's just go in, go in, go in.
Trying to think of a nice way to say it, but I mean, they're just not learning. Because EG have presented the exact same approach to defending their base every single time. We're going to try and pick off here. Right at the start, they try to pick off the Darkseer. But more recently, it's always been Shadow Shaman Lina. We're just going to jump on their supports, we're going to kill them, not let them get anything done. And, I mean, MMY actually has a blink and a 4-star. So there really isn't a reason for him to stand at the front when they push. He can be pretty far back, let Lone Druid run at the front, and then blink in and drop his wards. So I just wonder whether LGD can keep cool heads. Earlier on I said that that's something that they seem to be doing after the first failed attempt to push, but now I'm not too sure. Like, they need to just take a step back, look at what's been going wrong, figure out what they want to do, because I think they're still in a pretty dominant position to win this game. But if they were to lose 2 more fights, they're losing. They're like definitely losing. Maybe even 1 more fight.
Like,
they get wiped.
I think one more 3 core kills against LGD. If this Lone Druid, Ember and Darkseer die again in the next fight, I think EG just go and take it. Next Roshan, you know, we find out, and he's coming up soon. Well, he's coming up in a minute or so.
If EG ever get a return Rax, it's like the game almost feels, yeah, in big trouble for LGD, because they're playing a lot on this pressure. I mean, to be honest, it's not obvious to me that EG just win if the game goes very late. It's just that the way that LGD's built themselves up, the way they've been approaching the game, it feels like once they stop choking out EG, they just start losing.
They've all
but it doesn't have to happen.
They've all ended at every opportunity. Like, item decisions, movement decisions, warding decisions, nothing has been defensive or careful. You know, it's been planned. Everything's been planned, and there's been some sense, well, a lot of sense to it. But LGD have just tried to brute force every single time, and I think EG have, like you said, they're just outplaying, outthinking, outplaying, outmaneuvering in every single team fight since the mid-Rax has fallen. Well, even before the mid-Rax fell, they won that one team fight, and then LGD came rushing back down to try and regain what they had accrued over time.
LG have really been trying to force this kind of pseudo deathball approach, but I mean, their heroes do allow for them to sit back and just go back to farming a bit more, I think. Certainly to a point. I mean, Ember Spirits and Lone Druid have so much scaling to do, even their supports have a lot of scaling to do. But yeah, they're gonna go for that next rush. It's gonna be an Aegis. I think this one has a cheese too, yeah. And if he wants, maybe he could finish an Abyssal Blade soon as well, which could be really big.
EG are not going to allow this. I mean, Universe goes straight. He's got them both. He's got them both. The Darkseer and the Shadow Shaman. Some rolls are down. And Fear comes in with a finger of death. Easy takedown on RTZ on the side. Blinking. Aegis picked up by the Lone Druid. And Sonic Wave comes across them both. RTZ can battle through this with the Basher up even on him. He's ensnared. He's bashed, but he still gets the kill. Sylar will fall. He will come back to life in a second. And he does have a bear still battling it out as well. But look at this. Sumail, he's crushing them all. Gets a double kill. Mega kill streak for him up and running. And RTZ. The Manta style from Maybe. He's got Remnants, he's got Flight, he's got the Mana Void on his head. But Sylar's little bear, Sylar's little hero, could get chased down here. And that's Aegis gone. That's the potential for a game-winning push for LGD gone. And I feel like that was the fight where RTZ just goes, they're gone. We've won this game. We just have to try and hold out for a few more minutes.
Yeah, and by the way, RTZ has buyback again. That's how long it's been since when he had to buy back his squad. He's got it in 10 seconds, which is, he essentially has it. That's a refresh orb on Sumail. And yeah, now it's certainly anyone's game. It's anyone's game to win. There's lots of ways this could go. MMY could finish his Ags, and we could still see some kind of cheese just forcing it. Maybe an Abyssal Blade out of the Ember Spirits, getting an important pick-off. LGD could sit back and just get Lone Druid and Ember Spirit ready farmed. EG could take a big fight and suddenly they're the ones doing their axing. I'm not too sure, but actually maybe he's picked up an E-Hawk song, so deciding now he wants to buy Butterfly.
Arteezy Basher. Look at this, Sumail, refresher. So Orchid twice, Shivas, BKB twice, Sonic Wave. Guess what? 2 of those as well. Blink forward, oh goodness gracious me, DDC. You heals yourself up, but yeah, you're gone. No buyback, a minute without your Lina. And LGD, they're scrambling. They are, look at them, scrambling, running across the map. RTK gets hookshotted, and this is where EG picked them apart one by one. The blade mail's up, the cogs not there for 3 seconds, but RTK drops the wall. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, surges away, but Sumail silences him up. And I think, oh, RTK ticking. He's got 2 stick charges. He's, he's healing, he's alive. Barely surviving.
EG's draft just has so much catch. So there's certain positions they just completely exploit LGD in. It started early on when LGD were trying to push and EG just jumped on them without them expecting it. And we saw that over and over, and here LGD split up on the map. And EG
Nice
just
try. MMY, Serpent Water down. Good damage, but Glyph is there. And his TP was cancelled. Over towards middle lane. TP not in time, and they've got the Sonic Wave twice. No, the blink away is what Sumail's going to be using there. The BKB and TP
just
out.
barely escaping. That's pretty big actually if Sumail dies there. If MMY actually has an Axe and there's no Glyph, that might be a Rax, I think. I think that probably is a Rax. And he's not that far from his Axe. He's been... I mean, he's had these components for a long time, but he's only 400 gold away now.
Who has been the MVP for EG on your team? Oh my god. In your mind.
on my team.
On your team, yeah. Come on.
I would say Universe.
Okay, good.
I mean, it's difficult to say who's making those calls, but I feel like very early in the game, EG could have just lost the game at that like very early push mid where they first rebuffed LGD. And Universe just went in and made it happen. Went in the dark sphere, killed him before he could do anything. And he's kind of been the main one doing these initiations every time. And if you think about it, each time there's been a push where EG just have to go on LGD and pick off these supports before they do anything, it's usually Universe has to make the first move. And if he misses that hook, suddenly they can't do it and they just lose buildings. Now he's got an Axe, so missing hooks is something he can do and he'll have more hooks, but he's only got an Axe now. So I think it's hard to appreciate at the time, but each time he's landed those hooks, it's actually been really important that he did land them.
What does Maybe's item build do for him? Like he can man fight the anti-mage now, right? This is this is never what we see from an Ember Spirit. He's always spamming out Slight Fist, cleaving through people, giving you that AoE presence. Here it's actually kind of interesting to see the Ember built as a man fight hero to go toe to toe with the AM. I don't know how well it's going to work. Oh god, one lane, BKB. They've caught MMY. Guess what? He was up front again. He pays for it every time. Every time.
Yeah, and this is what's really worrying for me right now, is we've gotten to the point where Spirit Bear dies very, very quickly. And all of a sudden, if you're Sylar, you're wondering, should I just put all the items of my hero? Because there's a lot of farm in that Spirit Bear, and anti-mage attacks it 5 or 6 times and it dies. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've spoken at length about how Shadow Shaman shouldn't be in front. You're talking now about Ember Spirit's build. I think another reason to buy Butterfly is that you've invested in the Manta already. In terms of the pushing power and fighting power, Butterfly is one of the better items to make your images a bit stronger once you do Manta, so it's not just to debuff, they can actually attack things.
Look at these 2 wards at Roshan. Oh god.
Universe is just talking creeps all the time now.
That's fine.
Having some fun.
Look at the dire warding Roshan though.
Yeah, but that's... I guess they're feeling very confident now. They're thinking the only way they're gonna lose at this stage. Oh, I'm actually talking about EG. EG's thinking the only way they can lose this stage is losing Rush. But
they've caught Sylar.
again.
He is trapped. He's forced back though. Good old wall there. Help from RTK, but maybe he's bashed. He's hexed. He's dead. He's gone. He's got no buyback. That butterfly means he has no buyback. Is the game just over now? They've got, like we've talked at length about their heavy pushing power, but how is their counter push? How is their push stopping power?
Yeah, it's bizarre, this situation. I feel like for quite some time, for the last 15 minutes or so, LGD have very much been in the game still.
has
But
fallen.
in some sense, it feels like they've lost the will to live. They've just like
Just giving
in
up
their
and
heads, they're
accepted their
just
fate.
like, yeah, we like our plan didn't work. Oh well.
Hook shot off the mark.
Dire's bottom
This time for Universe anyway, but he does force RTK into the thick of things, over his own cogs and into death. Sumail just blinks forward and he's going to secure a couple more kills here. MMY gone. The buyback from RTK. Try and push forward, but Sumail is just zoning them out. He's the shepherd and LGD are the sheep. Back into your pens. That's where you belong right now. PPD, okay. Bash, root, bash, bash, dead. Great RNG there from the Spirit Bear.
Yeah, and now that they've lost a bunch of Raxes, LGD's plan looks a lot less clear. Let's assume they haven't lost the will to live, which I'm saying they have. I feel like they need to kill Arteezy or Sumail without buyback. I feel like they're now at that point. We're just, you know, trying to force a push or trying to win a fight in fair conditions. Not going to work that well for them.
Well, when does Roshan respawn? That's going to be a big key factor here. Find out in a couple of seconds' time. But yeah, they've got no Serpent Wards for a good minute, 50 seconds. Well, Roshan respawns very quickly, and there's your heart for the anti-mage. Abyssal Battle Fury. Manta, Heart, and that BKB he bought a while back. He's also got 3,000 gold saved up, so tons of money. Tons of money.
MMY finally has Aghanim Scepter. I mean,
It's been a long
he
time
was like
coming.
1,000 gold away for like the last 15 minutes. I mean, when I first mentioned that he was close to it, it felt that was still when LGD felt like they were on the verge of winning the game. And it's strange to think. I mean, the way the game feels now, it's strange to think that this game was ever in that position where LGD were in control. But they were, very much so.
Like 25 minutes ago or whatever, when he started the Aghanim Scepter, they were pushing tier 3 bot, they were looking like they were going to take racks, and they were going to end the game. It was all so simple for LGD, and Evil Geniuses, I don't know, they had the script or something. They knew what was coming in Season 7, because LGD, they fall down the well and Lassie can't find them. This gold graph, net worth difference, it goes, completely swings from 8k LGD favored to 12,000 for EG.
It was a really big call by Sumail at the start of the game, rushing that BKB. And I said I'd like an Ags, and you mentioning the Orchid, but I think the BKB was absolutely crucial. Just judging when that turning point would be, when they'd be forced to take that first fight. They knew that they'd try and stall, but they'd have to drop their outer towers. They'd have to fight when their Axis finally got threatened. And they needed to be ready to take that fight, and they were ready. And that kept them in the game for a while. I think even after staying in the game, it was still LGD's game. But a few more good fights where EG just completely outplayed them, and we're now at a point where LGD is on their last life.
Well, smoke expires and Universe is looking again. Observer will scout out every movement he makes. So he's always scouting out for these hook shots, and are LGD thinking about jumping in here? I know ROTK is. Everybody
They
knows
are.
that ROTK is thinking about jumping in here, and he's
They're
surging.
gonna go.
They're gonna go vacuum back into the wall. MMY hits the wards down. Universal shots in, but this is looking okay for LGD. They've lost a little bit of HP over on the docks here, but on the back end, Fear pounds into Sylar, forces him back and forces himself over the Baron to safety. As, take a look at what Arteezy and Sumail are doing. Roshan dies, theft of the Aegis as PPD picks it up. The Dire killed it, but EG got it. Maybe he's in the thick of things. Sumail blinks out just about. And back to life comes that Dazzle. He's going to be able to grave up Fear. The Laguna Blade from DDC.
How has
It just,
nobody died?
what's,
EG.
what's going on? Everybody's on 20 health. Nobody's died yet. Well, there's one. Dazzle's dead. Clockwork's dead. But Arteezy's still in full fighting shape.
Arteezy's been regenerating with hearts at small portions during this fight because he was on like 2 hits at some stage.
Oh, they're TPing back in. DDC. Yeah, you're screwed. So Ember and the lone druid are the only ones left to defend their base.
They were actually, I mean, that was actually damn close. I mean, LGD actually got the rush. Imagine they got the Aegis. Imagine they finished off Arteezy at the start, or Sumail in the middle. It was actually really close. And that's a Daedalus on the Spirit Bear. My god.
Well, if they... Oh, no, they can't. Oh, yes, they can. MMY, Hex Shackle. They can kill Arteezy here, and it looks like they might just do it with a... Oh, okay. He's dead, right? Shackle
Yeah,
is halfway through its duration. He's dead.
He's dead.
100%. Possibly dead. Maybe alive. might escape.
So, I guess now there's a chance for LGD to win the game. If they could somehow push quickly enough to force Arteezy's buyback and then kill him again. But that's a tall order. That's like, I don't know if they're even going to be able to push quickly enough to force him to buy back in the first place. Never mind, kill him again.
The noise of the shackles, the buzzing. It's glorious. But yeah, this one kill doesn't mean a hell of a lot. What? Sylar is 10-2-8.
Yeah, he's on his namesake. He's on the Scylla bear, the Sylar bear.
He's godlike. His team are
got
losing and he's godlike.
His creepy bear costume. I mean, how do you fight that? Just look at him waddling around.
Waddle, waddle, waddle. Let's have a look.
That's what it looks like actually. It doesn't, like, I'm not convinced that's a bear. That's like a human in a bear costume, and that's why it's so creepy.
No, you know what it is? It's Undying in a bear costume.
It's Undying in a bear costume.
Look at the way it walks. It's the arms. It's the dead arms that are just like by his side.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's Undying in a bear costume. Well, LGD, this is something they tried half an hour ago, and it's something that they're going to try again. The old run down the middle lane strat and see what bloody happens.
I mean, the plan here is to get RTZ to buy back and then run for the hills. If he buys back and they get quartz, they're in trouble, and that's going to happen, by the way. There's so much catch. So if he does buy back, the catch is going to happen.
Good shot in. Actually caught with a vacuum wall. Ember Spirit jumps to the back. Antimage does buy back though. And then jumps to Mail. Killed off the dogs here. RTK is down and got the bearers. Look at the bear! It's just dead. Straight up Rogered. Hookshot is going to be off the mark there. The Serpent Water cleared up. Nice, easy gold for them. Dogs
actually only RTK quartz. That's pretty good for LGD. He doesn't have buyback. I don't know if it matters. He's not going to take that long to respawn.
I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not game winning.
Well, they now have 6 minutes to kill Arteezy, and if they kill Arteezy in the next 6 minutes, they will probably win the game. And if they don't, they'll definitely lose the game.
Run down the lane. Maybe has no mana left. He's got no Manta, no remnants. He's dead. Does he have buyback?
Yeah, he's got buyback. It's literally, it's can they kill Arteezy without like all dying in the process? If they do, they can actually win the game. If they don't, they will have lost the game very soon.
Back to the land of the living. But Universe, he's just getting vision non-stop. Rocket flare, waiting.
Oh, Arteezy's hexed, but
shot.
no follow-up.
Looks like he's okay for now. Lone Druid and Ember, they didn't go in for this. There's the chains across a couple of them. Bashed up as well from the Sleight of Fist. And oh, RTK vacuum, but no wall. Universe just hooked straight on in, and they've caught a couple of them here with the Earthspike from Fear. They're screwed! Aghanim Scepter, Fear! Where the hell did you get that from? Ruins LGD with one click. One flick of the wrist.
Yeah.
And once again it's down to Ember and Lone Druid. I don't think they've got it in them. I don't think they've got the stones. They're gonna go for it anyway.
But I'm godlike.
I'm godlike. Let me let me at him. Let me at him. He gets the ensnare over onto Sumail, but at this point your bear's dead. Does he have a resummon? Not for 10 seconds or so.
This was a peculiar game of Dota 2.
55 minutes of one team is winning for half an hour, and then the other team is winning for half an hour. Yes, the sudden swing kind of made it interesting. But, game number 1, about an hour long. EG take it. LGD had a crack though. They had a good old go. For the first 25 minutes, they literally had won the game. The game was over. It's down to EG, down to Universe, those hook shots, the calls, the outplays for about half an hour. Before and after they lost that mid-racks. They got them going. They put the fire in their belly. But yeah, we'll have a short break, guys. We'll be back with game number 2 here in this best of 3 in a little bit.